All right, we are live. Welcome to our Growth Lab Real World Strategies for MSPs and SMBs webinar. I'm excited to have this one because we're going to be talking about why AI won't fix a broken process. So, in the AI readiness realm, or even as a strategy for SMBs and MSPs specifically, AI doesn't replace operational experience, right? It rewards it. Really, the objective is to help you understand that successful AI adoption starts with operational maturity, not technology. This has been repeated over and over and over again throughout technology history specifically, but history in general. I think the first real proof of that was Henry Ford, right? He made the production line. He processed out and then built the tool to support the process, not have a tool and then see if it'll fix the process. It doesn't work that way, right? And after 30 years just in IT, it's the same movie over and over again. First it was data centers, then it was cloud, then it was virtualization, then it was automation, and now it's AI. None of those technologies fixed a broken process, right? It amplifies what already exists. And, everything comes with a promise of solving a business problem, right? But if your business already has a problem, it's not going to make it better. So the big thing with and I know I'm showing the Hive over here. I'm not showing any processes, but that's okay. I like branding. The big takeaway is no matter what the tool, right? It's about the process to fix it. I can have a wrench, doesn't mean I can nail a board together. So here's some big misconceptions in AI. I can buy a tool and solve an operational problem, right? AI doesn't fix undefined ownership. AI doesn't fix poor communication. AI does not fix inconsistent service delivery or product builds, right? AI doesn't fix missing documentation. AI does not fix poor leadership. And AI doesn't fix a lack of accountability. AI simply makes those problems happen faster. You get what I mean? Sure, Joe. All right. Let's keep going. Um, uh, Imagine traffic, and I'm in Orlando. And so there's traffic all over the time by the theme parks. There's a section of the four that just people hate driving now because it's always traffic. Adding an additional lane on the highway doesn't help traffic flow when there's a wreck blocking the highway, right? You're just adding another lane. AI is like adding a lane to improve a workflow that can't improve until you remove the obstacle in the way, right? Without that process, you may have more speed, but you got the same bottleneck.
Yep.
How are we feeling about that? Make sense?
Oh, that's 100% correct, Jeff.
All right, and that's just going to lead for frustration. So here's some 4 signs to know if you're ready for AI. Can your team answer these following questions? Who owns the process? Everything you do is process based. It's how you do it to achieve a desired result. And if it has a process, who owns it? And then where is it documented? Can somebody else follow the same process using the documentation? How do you know it worked? How do you know what that desired result is, right? Can you get there predictable? If you can't answer those 4 questions, then don't buy an AI tool. You'll have more success fixing the process first. And I'll say this, that it's easy to fix process. It is once you do the hard work of changing how you lead, changing how you manage. Because if you don't manage to this behavior, if you don't lead by these standards, your team can't get there. So being ready for AI starts at the top. It's not AI strategy, it's operational maturity. So I'm going to talk about kind of as an MSP consultant, but it works in any small business, is my 4P blueprint, right? And it's just going to touch on it, but AI requires 4 simple things: people, who owns it, who's accountable, and then who needs the training. A process, how should this work? Is it documented? Can someone else follow it? The platform, what technology does it supports this process? That's where AI belongs, right? Not first, not third, not last, right? It's what technology supports the process. And then performance. How do you measure success? How do we know that AI actually helped? A lot of cases where AI fails is because AI created chaos. They didn't look and benchmark where they were to see how AI got them there faster, or did it? You had a question or a comment?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I disagree with you. That's all.
So it's without this maturity and process, we don't know kind of, are resources doing the right thing? How do we know AI is going to help? Is it making good decisions or is it hallucinating? Right? Without knowing what good looks like, without knowing the process to get there, without people being trained, without your technology support it, without your leadership guiding it, you will not be successful with AI, or you get lucky.
Very true.
Right? Most people, especially MSPs, start with platform. This tool does this. It's cool. Why doesn't it work for me? High performing companies. And when I talk about high performing companies, I'm talking about those companies that do 20 plus and grow a net profit, or 25% net profit, 30% net profit, which is extremely doable, especially in the MSP sector. What they start with, though, is their people, the process, the platform, and the performance. They have all 4 of these things. And that works if you're a CPA firm. That works if you're a law firm. That works if you're a medical facility, right? People, process, platform, performance. Now, again, this is all from the, I'll say, the operational side. The sales side is more in line with Chris's core platform and processes, which I want him to do a webinar on, but we'll see how camera shy is. All right.
Hint, 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 wink, wink.
You see how I did that?
Absolutely. Looking forward to that.
All right. So let me talk about, in fact, I had a customer I was working with just before this about a bad ticket process. We spent a quarter building the swim lanes, building the process, working on the escalation flow, and we formalized ticket flow from conception to completion. 4 of the 5 swim lanes functions according to the process, right? We got a ticket. It's in level 1's wheelhouse, but he couldn't fix it because it ended up being something different. We escalate to level 2. Level 2 didn't like the way it was being escalated, so they changed the process. It added time for him to get the ticket. Now, the other level 2 was closing tickets faster. So the question became, why am I being inconsistent? Why is this documentation? Why is this ticket completion? Why is this process different? Right? I can't train engineers to follow people-specific processes. That escalation became random, and I had no visibility into it other than the metrics of his time per ticket is longer. This SLA is longer. Why? Whenever this person touches something, more aging happens. Now, if we add AI into it, we have just smarter notes, but inconsistent process, right? Inconsistent documentation, inconsistent summaries, right? There was no improvement because the human in the middle didn't follow the process. So AI, which looks at the ticket and makes decisions, right? Looks at the ticket and see, but did it follow standards? It was doing what it was doing, but it didn't help move the ticket forward, right? And it didn't identify that the process was broken because he changed it. So it did help save some time, but it didn't improve the quality. But with a good process, that workflow works. We're looking at the standardized flow. We're looking at standardized documentation, and the escalation metrics were correct. Well, were what we wanted. So we had that consistency. So it's where kind of your lessons of I had to learn it the hard way, right? People have to go through it to understand that it doesn't work. It doesn't scale. There was one time I walked into a company and I thought I knew all the answers, right? I'm an operational genius. I loved myself. And this is 10, 15 years back when I was much more full of myself. I didn't ask questions, so I didn't know who knew what. And I had an epic failure transitioning this company to standardized processes because I made assumptions. I didn't know what I didn't know. And people are making that same mistake with AI and thinking it should give you better results. AI needs structure, it needs information. So it needs you to ask those questions. What does good look like? How did I get here? All right. So enough of that. I'm going to take 5 minutes and kind of go over what's new with our Hive platform. So one, the look and feel is different. But two, it's going to come in the fact that we're now pushing applications through the Hive. So our first party applications are rolling out. We've got them linked to external websites. So you launch it and it'll integrate with your sign-in. So right now it's doing the authentication. Now it's verifying inside of the Hive. So now it still has all of your contacts, right? All of your policies, all of your tokens, everything is still working as if you are in the Hive, but now I have a dashboard builder that I can use natural language to build dashboards. I could build dashboards for companies, or I could build dashboards for myself. And we have templates in here. We have some libraries. We have some starter templates. You can make scheduled reports out of your dashboards. So say you want to build a client library and you're connecting these data sources to it, right? And then you're going to have your widgets and it's all natural language. And then you say, okay, now I have that client facing, they can see it, but I'm also going to give them a report every month or every quarter so I can do my QBRs. So that's big for us. We're starting to release the first party applications all integrated into your chats. I have simple mode, right? Where it's just the builder and the data sources, or complex, where I have kind of knowledge bases, change logs. If you've made a change and you need to revert back, it's all here. So yay.
That looks great.
We're up to 134 different AI models. We've added Llama parser, so for better document parsing, basically. We've added the complete Microsoft Office to export. You can export to Excel. You can export to CSV. And we've got basic markdown and text exports. So we're working through it. Also have a creative studio where we can do images, storyboards, stuff like that. So we're pretty excited. So let me stop sharing.
That's awesome.
Now, I know one of the things we've talked about a lot is why, well, one of the topics of this is why AI won't solve a problem. Again, another client I was talking to today, they brought in hats. They have Thread AI. They have MSP process. And so they have all these different tools that are having some intelligence, right? Trying to fix singular problems. What they don't have is data governance. So people are using ChatGPT, people are using Copilot, people are using thread, and they're all getting different answers to the same questions. And only one of them is actually looking at ticket data and not completely. Excuse me. So why the tool's not solving the problem is tool unification. So I was talking to their director of technology, and he's like, well, we can do this, this, and this, and we need to buy another tool that's going to connect all of these apps. So I have a single pane of view. I can get a single pane of view glass, right, and be able to connect my AI to it. And I said, well, still, where's your data governance, right? Where's the data governance? And it's policy based. And when I say policy, it's literally a document that people should follow. There's no actual enforcement unless you find it. So it was tool upon tool upon tool layered to solve the problem of shared context. If you have data structure, if you build your process to support AI, you have to change your roles and responsibility. What that level 1 does changes. It shrinks. What that level 2 does changes, right? It shrinks because it's the same process. But when you integrate an AI to say, I need the answer to this question before I get the ticket, right? Because I can look at the RMM. I can look at ticket history. I can look at documentation. I can look at emails. I can look at meetings. I can look at finances, right? I can look at all these things in seconds, nanoseconds, and make qualified decisions on impact, urgency, and solutions. And we call that it's predictive troubleshooting. Same thing when I'm using AI against my RMM, I do predictive failures. Same thing I do with my communication, right? I do predictive communication. I can tell you what's going to happen based on what has happened. That's a real part of AI's genius, is that it can process information at a master's and a PhD level, right? It has that ability to reason. But if it's looking at broken processes and fractured inputs, it's going to deliver garbage. But it'll do it really quick. So AI is about data structure and data governance. Businesses are about people, process, platform, and performance.
Absolutely.
What you want to add, Chris?
No, it's entirely, it's what we were trying to to resonate out there, is that it comes down to the making humans better, right? How do we make humans better? That is what we have done over thousands of years. What tool do we need from the wheel forward to make humans better, to make them more productive, to maximize the time of a day, right? And AI has accelerated that to limits that most of us couldn't comprehend 24 months ago. Fortunately, you and I have been playing in the AI space longer than most, so we've seen what it can do, right? We've seen that knowledge has become dead because you can find anything and learn anything with AI, and it's just going to, expand. And the companies, especially the MSP side of the world, because they're touching every vertical that's out there, from size of company to the very small to the whales and everywhere in between, they are touching every vertical, and they have to understand what it means to have a supporting platform around the 4P methodology, right? And then you had said, incorporating on the other side, the cores framework methodology on the sales side, and having process. Everything is process. And once you have that process in place and you have it properly documented and loaded all in one location where they can all communicate with each other, that's where the magic sauce happens. And this world becomes so exciting, and not, it's Friday, what's going to crash today and keep me working all weekend? We know that's what you guys experience on a regular basis too. Coming to work on a Monday morning in the MSP space is what broke over the weekend, right? So we're trying to help ease those pains, and we've come up with a phenomenal, unbelievable, one of a kind in the world thing out there that's called Hive AI, and can't praise this thing enough. It's just phenomenal. It has its own body.
Yeah, and one of the things you said was really interesting because it does resonate that, my experience has been 30 years in the, since the 90s where it was just a break fix. Let me go, I know somebody, to the evolution of the MSP through the fourth generation that we've gone through. It's been all about processes. It's the same thing for you, right? You've been in the technology revenue sector. It doesn't matter if it's an MSP. It doesn't matter if it's a CPA, right? Your process on your side of the house, right, is the same. It's process based,
Process-based. Yeah.
right? Because processes deliver reliable, predictable, and repeatable results
That can be measured.
that can be measured, right?
That's the key.
Because without measuring, I could go back to how do you know it's working? How do you know what to change, right? How do you know it's broken? And how do you know it's working well that you want to throttle up on? It's a key to business. It's a key to success and growth. And it's the key to implementing a new technology, whether it's AI or the wheel.
Exactly right.
Right? Okay. If you add the wheel, you better have a road. Otherwise, it's going to be bumpy.
No doubt.
All right. I think that's it for this week. I look forward to doing it every other Friday. Right? We're going to have a webinar, and look forward to the next episode.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're here to educate, and we're here to be educated by you guys out there, right? So the field is our most wonderful proving ground that we could play in. Right? So please bring your questions, please bring your comments to us, and bring us your problems, bring us your toughest problems that you're wondering how to solve for, and we'll give you an example of how we can solve for those problems.
It's 15 minutes or less. We can solve any problem.
Absolutely.
So, yep, send us our problems. If you want us to do live in the webinar, we can do that, or we can just reach out to you guys one-on-one. But that's our job, is to help people.
Help people have fun.
Everybody have fun. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris.
All right.